Wholesomely. So a lot of you guys know that I don't count macros and I also don't count my calories. I did do this for a very brief period. It was more to kind of track just how many nutrients I was getting, and then I just kind of found it very boring. So these days, all I do is I use a basic formula to construct my meal. It's really easy, it's really quick, and this is what I personally find works for me. So I basically have a fistful of protein. I like chicken, I like halloumi, I like chickpeas. You can change it up with different protein sources. And then I like to fill most of the plate with vegetables and change it up. Roast them, raw, salads, just to kind of give me variety. And then fill like a quarter of the plate with some grains. And then I'll just kind of put some sauce as my source of fats or avo, and yeah, that's basically it. It's really quick, it's really easy, you don't need to weigh anything out, and I really find it works for me. So today I'm going to show you guys 4 of my favorite meals to have, and you can kind of use this formula to construct any meal that you prefer, and I'm just going to show you how quick and easy it is. So my first meal is my sesame salmon bowl. So as my protein source, I have a fillet of salmon, and I coat it in this really delicious sauce that I use using sesame oil, some garlic, some lemon and soy sauce. And I basically just brush the salmon and coat it really well in this marinade. It's so delicious. I sometimes also like to add a drop of honey or some ginger to it. I'll then top it off with a black sesame seed crusting and just kind of coat the salmon really well in the black sesame seeds until it's all coated, and then put it in the oven and bake at 180 degrees until well done. I then serve it on a bowl and it's ready to go. So I then take a nice non-stick pan and I put around 2 cups of stir-fry veggies. I like to mix my veggies up. I've got some carrots and spinach and all sorts of other vegetables. And then I take some leftover marinade and pour it over, and I'll stir-fry this on a medium heat until my vegetables are cooked through. I like them to be a little bit crispy so I don't overcook them. I then take around a cup of egg noodles and stir fry them in some soy sauce and a little bit of sesame oil. I then plate it all up using my formula. I know that salmon is a little bit larger than a fistful, but I really was not going to cut it in half. And I paired it with a delicious homemade chili sauce. I also placed the leftover stir-fry noodles in a Tupperware in the fridge for days that I don't have time and need to construct a meal quickly. The second dish that I'm making is a Cajun chicken bowl. So what you need for this recipe is around 160 grams of raw chicken, 2 tablespoons of Cajun spice, and around 1.5 tablespoons of olive oil. I'm making enough for 2 people just because I live with my boyfriend, and usually when I'm making meals it's for 2. And I also like to crush 1 clove of garlic on top, and then I'll kind of cover this and leave it to marinate for a minimum of 20 minutes. Then stir fry the chicken in a pan until they cook through and tender. For the sweet potato fries, I'm using my air fryer here, but you can totally make them in the oven. I literally put around 200 grams of sweet potato raw in the air fryer or the oven, and then I'll sprinkle this with a little bit of olive oil or some olive oil spray, and then I'll top it with just a handful of sea salt. They are also delicious if you put a sprinkle of cinnamon, and I'll bake this at 180 degrees until crispy. So the sweet potato fries are nice and crispy, and I may have eaten a lot of them. Oops! So for the plating, I'll take around a fistful of the chicken, and fill that with 1/4 of the plate. And then I will take a bunch of veggies. Here I've got some chopped carrots, some chopped peppers, some raw peas, and some delicious strawberries, and kind of try fill a 1/4 of the plate with that. And then the other 1/4 of the plate, I'll fill it with some lettuce. So half of my plate is filled with veggies, and then instead of a starch, I've got sweet potato fries, and I've got a delicious homemade tomato dipping sauce. So the next bowl is a vegan option. Today I'm going to show you guys how I make my crispy chickpeas. I'm doing them in the air fryer, but once again you can totally just place it in the oven. I'm putting around 1 can of drained chickpeas and around 2 tablespoons of peri peri spice. I'll then bake this at 180 degrees until they become super crispy, super crunchy. They are so delicious and also delicious for snacking on. For my veggies today, I've decided to have a salad with some tomatoes and lettuce, and my fat sauce is avocado with sesame seeds. I then have 2 organic corn tortillas that I crispened in the oven for around 5 to 10 minutes. Then I basically just plate it up once again using around a fistful of chickpeas, trying to fill half of my plate with veggies and the rest of it with my carbohydrate sauce. Drizzle the salad with some hot sauce and a squeeze of lemon. My third bowl is a vegetarian option. This is honestly one of my favorites, and I have this at least once a week. So I take 1 large block of halloumi cheese and I'll slice it into strips. I then place it in a non-stick pan and fry them, or I'll put it in my air fryer until they come out nice and crispy. For the salad today, I've got some exotic tomatoes that I just slice in halves lengthwise. If you don't have these cool tomatoes, you can literally use just normal cherry tomatoes. I just love these for their color and their flavor, and they seem to be in season at the moment. And I cooked some quinoa. I used the ratio of half a cup of raw quinoa to 1 cup of vegetable stock, and this will yield you around 1.5 cups of cooked quinoa that I put in the fridge for other days when I don't have time to cook quinoa. I also like to add these yummy artichokes. I buy them canned. They're not a necessity, but a delicious add-in. So to plate up, it's basically a 1/4 of the plate with quinoa, and I have a delicious tahini dressing that I made. And then I'll kind of fill at least half of the plate with the tomatoes and the artichokes, and then I'll use around 3 pieces of halloumi as a serving of protein. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and if you guys enjoy videos like this, please don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up.